everybody. Welcome back to the Holistic Highlights podcast, along with my man Grande and Browner. This is Scott Kaplan and Ruthie Edelson, who is the Chief Marketing Officer at Torrey Holistics. So, Ruthie, how's it going? We're pulling into episode 3 of our podcast.
Yeah, it's so exciting. Everyone is coming with such great energy and has amazing stories to tell.
Yeah, and we're going to meet today the owner, founder, creator of Dr. May, and that is Meghan Muckenfuss. And honestly, like, I didn't know if this was like a made up kind of a name, but that's really her name, Muckenfuss. And she uses it in a lot of the different brands. And
sounds like what something you should say if you drop something.
After a sneeze.
Muckenfuss.
But I think everybody's going to really enjoy Meghan coming up shortly. Ruthie, I have to tell you a crazy story. Actually, I have 2 crazy stories I want to tell you in this episode. I'll start now with one. We'll visit with Meghan, and then I'll tell you another one to finish things up. But here it goes. Let me tell you the story. So last weekend, my girlfriend and I were going away for our 3-year dating anniversary.
Nice.
Differentiation between a dating anniversary and a wedding anniversary. This guy.
At this point, it's the same for you.
So yeah, really. So Ruthie, so we're going down to Mexico, and I don't know, like, just naive California resident where, cannabis is legal. I'm not even thinking twice.
Oh no.
Now, I want you to know, I've held on to this story to wait to tell you. I haven't told John or Alex. We've done 5 radio shows this week. We've done 5 TV shows this week. I've been dying to tell the story, and I've held on until right now to tell the story.
I got a text 8 days ago about this story. That's all I got. He's like, you're not going to believe what happened to me.
Okay, so I'm going to admit to you guys really what happened. So we're going from San Diego down to Laredo, Mexico, and we're going through the cross-border airport, which is where anybody who doesn't live in the Southern California area, you're actually going from the American side to the Mexican side. You're walking across a bridge that takes you from San Diego to Tijuana, and you fly out of the Tijuana airport. Makes things a lot easier. It's very convenient. So I check in my bags that I'm going to check for the flight. I put some stuff in there for the weekend, things that I think are going to...
What kind of stuff?
I put in a bag of gummies, 1 bag.
Okay.
2 pre-rolled joints.
Okay.
1 cartridge that was still like in the package.
Oh, wow.
And 1 battery, like a pen, Ruthie.
Okay.
So again, pen, cartridge, 2 pre-rolled joints, 1 bag of edibles. So I always felt like checking it in versus carry on, that would be the way to go. And again, I'm like not even... Well,
they do inspect those bags as well.
I'm telling
True.
you,
My understanding.
I'm telling you, I admit it. I'm naive. I'm living in California. Everything's legal here. No big deal. I don't even think twice about it. And I, like a schmuck, I don't even know what the laws are of Mexico. I don't even think twice. So we walk through, we show our passports, we take our luggage, we put it up on the carousel because it's going to go through where like a TSA person is looking through your stuff. I assume they're looking for guns and liquids and whatever else, right?
I mean, did you kind of hide your stuff, or was it just right there on top?
No, very hidden, very, very hidden. So I had...
And this is, you got through the cross-border express, and this is in the TJ airport.
This is in the TJ airport where I'm literally just putting my bags through. Now, these bags have not yet been checked in. They're just going through the surveillance, the video surveillance, right?
Yeah.
So there's one young lady, and she's working there. And I put our luggage up on the thing, and it goes through.
The x-ray machine.
Go through the x-ray machine, right? And I have a backpack. And in my backpack, I have 1 pen and 1 cartridge. The cartridge has nothing left in it. So, and I pulled them apart, and one's in one part of the bag, and one's in the other part of the bag. And she said, as I'm pulling the luggage off the carousel, she says, I'm going to need to look through your bag. So I had my backpack up there. I go ahead, look, go ahead. She goes, no, not that one, which is one of my suitcase. So I put it up on the thing, and she opens it up, and she goes in and she sees my toiletry bag, and she looks and she finds like a piece of like a sunscreen, and it's like a cylindrical shaped sunscreen. And I'm like, okay, so she found what she was looking for. She probably saw that little cylinder, thought, what is that? She's going to put it back in my toiletry bag, and I'm going to be on my way. Well, this girl, she must have seen me coming from a mile away.
Ugh.
She knew what she was looking for.
You drug mule.
She went through every pocket of every
Wow.
article of clothing.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
She smelt it on you.
first she found the bag of edibles.
Oh, dude.
Then she found the cartridge, which again was packaged. It wasn't open. Then she found the pen. The cartridge is in my right shoe. The pen was in my left shoe.
Oh.
The bag of gummies was in a pair of shorts pocket, and the 2 joints were in another pocket. So I had everything hidden. But at this point, it's not like you could say, "Hey, it's my son's bag. He came home from college. I
Right.
don't know."
This is you. This is you purposely
Yeah.
hiding.
Right.
it.
Yeah,
Right.
To get through.
Right. There's
Yeah.
no way out of this, right?
Right.
So now I'm like, okay, because I've got in my head there's this basketball player from America who's over in Russia.
Yeah.
And her name's Brittany Griner, and she got busted at this Russian airport for having some vape cartridges. She's in jail. You know? Right.
Prison.
Right. Dude,
Russian
Prison.
jail.
and here's
You're
me.
going to be on the next Locked Up on Nat Geo.
Right. I'm going to be
Yeah.
like, I'm
TJ.
like radio host, television host, arrested in Tijuana for possession
Oh,
of cannabis.
KUSI will have
right?
fun with that.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. So now the woman who found all this stuff, she said, "I'm going to have to go get my partner now." And I'm like, "What the hell, man? Like, really?"
Yeah, her partner
research?
loves weed.
Right. So her partner comes over and she says in some broken English, she says, "Hey, cannabis is a crime in Mexico."
Oh, when did you poop your pants?
Well, but Browner, you don't understand. The thing is this. Now I'm dealing with the law in front of me and my girlfriend next to me, and all she cares about is, are we going to miss our flight? Not, am I going to jail? You know? So I have to calm her down, like, chill. I don't want to go to jail. Let me communicate with these folks. So with my broken Spanish and their broken English, here's what it was. They said, "Here are your choices, sir. You can turn around, go home to the United States, and not attempt to travel back into Mexico for 48 hours, or you can pay a fine, have your stuff confiscated, move on with no issues of any kind. Your choice."
Door number 2.
Your choice.
Yeah.
So I don't even ask how much. Take
Oh.
a guess, Ruthie. How much do they want from me to pay the fine?
300.
Okay, good guess, Browner.
And when you say
Yeah.
fine, real
Mhm.
quick, was there like paperwork?
No
involved?
paperwork, really.
$50. Oh, $50 bucks.
Okay.
50 bucks. 50 bucks.
Grande.
Well, she brought the partner, so this is doubled now.
100 bucks.
Right. They
Yeah,
got to
good
split
point.
it.
I'm going 150 each.
Okay.
No, because first of all, no offense, but you're white, and they will start higher as opposed to if I, speaking Spanish, would start. I think, in my opinion.
So they told me $150. So and you
Total?
have no idea. 150
Total?
total. But hold on. You have to understand, we were late going down to the airport. I was like, I need to stop at an ATM and get cash. My girlfriend's like, no, we don't have time. So I have no money on me. I went to an ATM in the airport. I typed in, I want $500. It came out as 500 pesos,
pesos.
which
Yeah.
which is like $25. Okay. So
Right.
I got no money on me. So they tell me $150. She walks me over to this thing. She actually does fill out a little bit of paperwork. Okay. And I go to give her the 150 and she writes on the back 250. And I go, well, your partner said 150. She goes, let's go back. Like as if they're going to arrest me at this point. I'm like, okay, I'll get more money. I gave him the 250. I gave him my weed. It's their weed now. And we went on our weekend.
They had a
No,
great
You
lunch
got
break.
shut down.
But I'll tell you this. I'll tell you what I did. I got scared. I got spooked. I still had the vape cartridge and the pen in my other bag. And I'm like, well, it's not going to last very long. So I went into the bathroom and I disconnected it and I threw it in the garbage because I was like, I don't want them to call their friends when I land. They're like, hey, there's this white guy who's coming down.
He's
Check him
gotta
because
have more stuff
he
on
got to
him.
have more.
Yeah.
He got it.
And he's got money.
Hey,
I saw the color of his
right,
credit
look,
card.
here's the bottom line. This is a public service announcement for everybody. You
Don't
can't
fly.
take
Take
weed
cash
into
to Mexico.
But, take right. Make sure you have plenty
Why
of
were you
cash.
only flying with 150 bucks.
Dude, I just listen. I cannot believe they took it all. I'm really surprised. No, because the thing is, what did they see? Did they see the pen? Did they see the cartridge? Did they see the metal? What did they see?
They saw an ATM coming through the metal detector.
Yeah, they didn't
They
see those
saw
joints. There's no
50-year-old
way.
white man.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
They saw me
Mhm,
coming from a mile away.
And then when your girl was putting pressure on you, they knew they had you at that point.
Oh
You
yeah,
finna
they were
give it
like,
up.
he's
Mhm.
giving more money because she
Mhm.
wants to
Rachel
go.
was in on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, he's got money and weed.
Yeah, and an angry girlfriend. We finna milk him for every penny he got.
I think it's a little to be fair to you, as someone who has been in a predicament of that nature, I would say that it's probably way more intimidating being at an airport because it feels more official
Mhm.
than if you get pulled over.
Pressure.
You know, if you get
Totally.
pulled over on a highway, that's one thing. It's you and a guy. When you're in an airport, it always feels like don't you feel like you guys are doing something illegal anyways? Being in an airport, you're just like, am I doing everything
Wet.
the way I'm supposed to be doing? Am I suspicious here?
Well, listen, I got out of it thankfully, but I spent the whole weekend no weed. And
Ugh.
and here's what happened. As soon as I landed and I came back to San Diego, I went directly to Tory Holistics to replace what I had lost. But
Yeah.
let me tell you what happened when I got to Tory Holistics. But before I tell you this story, let's meet our guest today from Dr. May. Let's meet the founder, the creator, and a person who's got a really great story to tell. Let's meet Meghan Muckenfuss right now, and then I'll tell you what happened when I landed. All right, Meghan. Well, we have a lot we want to talk to you about today. And by the way, everybody is so jealous because you look so warm and cozy and comfy. There's like sunlight coming into your room. There's a fire going behind you. Where are you today?
I am in Truckee, California, which is close to North Lake Tahoe. So it's an extremely warm day here. It's almost 60 degrees. So we've got the fire going, but the door's open and it's super sunny and really nice and cozy. The cat is extremely happy going in and out on the porch. So can't complain.
All right. Well, guys, I think we need to jump right in. And we'll start off by asking your company that you founded that I knew for so long as Dr. Raw. I'm telling you, I used to have a Dr. Raw box and a bottle of the balm, the CBD balm, like literally sitting right here until I used it all up. But you've changed the name from Dr. Raw to Dr. May. Will you explain why you changed the name? Because I think people are going to go into the store and be like, yo, where's Dr. Raw at?
So a few different reasons. Most people don't know that Dr. Raw was run by 3 women, women owned, women operated. And so when we wanted to refresh the brand, give it a new name, we decided to really focus on celebrating the amazing, strong, talented women behind the brand and really showcase them and give them props and credit for the extremely hard work that they've all put in to grow this brand and build it to what it is today. So Dr. May stands for, the M is for Meghan, and that's me. The A is for Amy. She is my director of brand relations and literally my right arm. I don't know what I would do without her. And the Y is for Yazi, who some of you guys have met. And Yazi has worked with me and helped navigate through this industry since like 2014. So she's been with me and through this brand and seen this brand from Prop 215 days where we were making everything in my home that I actually turned the kitchen into an industrial commercial kitchen through regulations and to today.
Wow.
So
that's cool.
When you change the name of something super popular, are you ever worried that you will lose people in translation from one name to the other?
Definitely a concern. But because the logos are the same, the formulas are the same, the products are all the same, it basically looks identical other than the fact that it says May instead of Raw on the logo. So not super concerned, but obviously, yes. And going into this relaunch and rebrand, the amount of support that we have received from our retail locations, delivery locations, just the industry in general, has been so overwhelming and amazing. I get goosebumps every time I think about it. Everyone has just been extremely excited and very supportive. And the feedback we've been getting is everyone actually prefers Dr. May versus Dr. Raw. It has more meaning. It has a story behind it. The three of us will show up at events together and everyone's like, there's the M, the A, and the Y.
Well, Ruthie, have you had anybody come in yet and say, hey, what happened to Dr. Raw? I need Dr. Raw.
Yeah, so we did have one customer call in and say, why am I getting this Dr. May? I want Dr. Raw. And so, obviously we explained it to them. It's a little different when you're getting delivery because you're not talking to a cannabis consultant to, maybe explaining that during this transition. But, our amazing customer service reps walked the customer through, the changes. And so they're still, of course, getting the same great product that they're used to. It's just a name change, same great product.
Really cool. Hey, Megan, you mentioned 3 women and how you started this in your own kitchen, in your own place. How did you guys get into the cannabis industry? And you mentioned 2014. So we're talking about 8 years ago. I mean, you're kind of ahead of your time. How did you guys get started?
So I moved to California in 2010. The first thing I did was got my medical marijuana card. Before I even had the hard copy of my California license, I immediately, as soon as I could get it, I got it. Started visiting all the stores, tried a wide array of products. I've grown up in the kitchen. I am a self-trained chef in a lot of ways. I've been baking since I could barely even see over the top of the oven. I grew up on a farm and we always just had raw ingredients. So flours, sugars, flavorings, and then a huge field of any kind of fruit and vegetable that you could possibly want. And so I grew up experimenting with food and relating that to cannabis. I'm out in California, so excited, get in all these shops, try all these different edibles and tinctures and all the different products, and realize that most of them were pretty awful in 2010. Really inconsistent. The taste was not good most of the time.
Unlike today.
Just wrapped in saran wrap, sometimes with a label, sometimes without a label. And so I was like, well, I can do better than this. I started experimenting a little bit on my own with infusing different edible products. And one weekend in Mexico, in Baja, down south of San Diego, I met some friends of friends that owned delivery services in San Diego at the time. And they needed someone to make edibles for them. And so partnership began. They legitimately showed up at my house 2 days later with 2 giant, like, leaf collector sized garbage bags full of trim. And the deal was I got to keep half of whatever they gave me, and I had to use the other half to just make edible products for them. And so that's when the recipe development and experimentation really started. I was able to really fine tune extraction processes and started lab testing everything to consistency and quality. When this delivery services closed down, my other half, Kyle, was like, well, you can't stop. Your stuff is too good. And so, he threw up a website, threw up a Yelp account, and poof, we have a delivery service in San Diego where we're just delivering the products I was making. And we'd started growing flower at that time as well. And so it grew extremely fast, way faster than we could ever have expected. And we started getting contacted by retail locations in Palm Springs, LA, Orange County, wanting to carry our products. And at that time, we were just branding our products under our delivery service name. And so obviously light bulbs went off. This was about 2014. And we launched Dr. Raw out of our delivery service as the wholesale brand, which eventually became to be carried throughout the entire state of California. We merged the delivery service with Tory Holistics going into regulations. And I took the wholesale brand on my own and got contract manufacturing partnerships up in Northern California for manufacturing, distribution, and sales. And so we were licensed at that time and able to continue on through the regulated industry.
Wow.
But
So-
I got to tell you, when they came over, they had a major cult following. I mean, there are diehard Dr. Ra, Dr. May fans. So it was, part of the reason I love being in this industry is hearing stories of how much cannabis helps people. It was story after story after story of the people that Dr. Ra was helping at the time. I mean, they literally would go over to people's homes to deliver this, but not only just to deliver, but to give such kind, caring, loving care. So the stories were really, truly so heartwarming and amazing of the things they were doing. It wasn't like they were just making these cannabis products. They were doing so much more.
Well, did it start off as just edibles, or did it start off the whole tinctures and everything that you guys have now?
Edibles, tinctures, and topicals, pretty much right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
I made RSO. I'm assuming you guys have heard of that. It's an oil concentrate extraction. I made that for years and years prior to regulations as well. That was an extremely popular product. I actually swear I think we may have had one of the very first, if not the first, infused pre-roll that we handmade for our delivery service. We called them camo joints because, and Yazi, the Y, actually really helped fine tune and develop the SOP for this process to make them. But we basically painted rolling papers with an extraction that I would make, and then would hand roll them up with flour on the inside. So it was a oil extraction and flour rolled up into a joint. And because the oil was slightly dark when you rolled it up, it looked camouflaged. So we called them camo joints. We started making those back in like 2013.
So when you have built such a fantastic business, and it feels like this is more of a love thing than a labor thing. And so now as we're doing these podcasts, it just dawned on me, we are forgetting the most important question. Like, when was the first time you smoked?
I was 15 years old at a Shania Twain concert.
Yeah.
And what happened?
Yeah.
The people
Is it
sitting
love at
next
first
to us
puff?
on their blankets just handed us a few joints, and it's like, all right, why not? Give it a go.
And you liked it, obviously.
Loved it. I have pretty severe anxiety, and I am basically anti-pharmaceutical drugs of any kind. I don't put any of that stuff in my system. So I've used cannabis since I was about 16, 17 years old to help control anxiety. It's hereditary. My whole family has it. Just something that you were born with and have to learn to deal with.
Does it give you an extra passion? So when you've gone through something, and you've beat something with this, and you want to share this with the world, does this give you an extra passion to kind of get the message out on how this can help battle things because obviously marijuana has always been kind of stigmatized by the outside groups, especially in the medical industry. And now that you've gone through something and you've become a better person and you're living a better everyday life because of it, does that give you more passion to kind of find ways to help more people?
Absolutely. And to touch on something Ruthie mentioned, we've always been extremely education focused with our delivery service, with the wholesale brand, the entire thing. There is so much ever-changing information on cannabis that it is really important to get across to the general population to not only get rid of a lot of the stigma that's attached to cannabis still to this day, but also really educate the general masses so that they can benefit from this plant, as I have seen as we get success stories on a daily basis about from different products. I mean, I can't tell you, even to this day, every time we get an email from like a little old lady or a little old man that is like practically, you can tell they're practically in tears writing the email about how much relief a tincture or a topical gave them. I mean, that's phenomenal. And the fact that they can feel relief and go about their daily life without being completely sedated or reliant on just pharmaceuticals.
So we all love like stories of great entrepreneurs, as well as obviously stories of how you're helping people. But the way I heard you tell the story, did this kind of just all happen? In other words, the way you describe is, hey, I moved to California. I got a medical license. I went and tried out some stuff. I started, figuring out how to make it myself. These friends came over and said, hey, we need somebody. In other words, did this just sort of happen? Or were you intending to get into the cannabis industry?
It really just sort of happened. And once I started getting into more of the experimentation and recipe development phase, at that point, obviously, you start to realize, well, I could make a business out of this. I taught high school for 6 years. I worked in
Well, that'll make you smoke more than anything.
Seriously.
You should have started with that.
Right. Ruthie and I are always kind of comparing like parental stories of teenage daughters. So we yeah. And you were dealing with other people's kids.
And I worked in corporate America, and I actually started doing this while I was working in like corporate education. Hi.
Anybody who's listening to this podcast, I always tell people, come watch the podcast on the YouTube channel. It's actually fun to see what's going on during all of this. Megan is trying to battle the lighting. She's got like sunlight coming into her room, and she's like half of her arm looks like it's going to get like a major sunburn. Don't worry about it. You look great. Okay. You're having a terrific hair day. Like I always tell Ruthie, you're both having great hair days, So you were saying it just kind of happened. Getting into the business was not your intention.
It wasn't. I mean, like I said, I came out to California from like teaching high school. I was working in corporate education. But it all fell into my lap. And once I got into it, I realized how much impact and how important it was to make a high quality product that tasted amazing. Cannabis edibles don't have to taste like shit. They don't have to be grainy. They don't have to be green. They can taste phenomenal. They can be high quality, and they can be healthy. My entire line is vegan. It's gluten-free, and I use all certified organic ingredients other than the cannabis oil, because it can't be. And that was another thing that we really focused on, is most of our patient population was over the age of 55. A lot of them are using this as a treatment for some sort of ailment, whether it's arthritis or cancer or diabetes. But essentially, they're putting this into their body to help heal. The last thing we need to be pumping our bodies full of is sugar, artificial coloring and flavoring, and GMO ingredients when you're really trying to use this to help heal your body. So that's what I decided to go into the industry with and be the difference, is to provide that higher quality, organic, healthier option where you can still get the relief. It still tastes amazing, but you're not pumping your body full of crap.
Nice.
I want to go back to the high school teaching thing, because this is fascinating to me. Were you doing this were you creating the brand, creating the products while you were teaching, or did you find the love and the passion and quit teaching and just jump to this? Was there any crossover? Were you the cool ass teacher in high school?
Like, was it a day where you were like, I'm done with this?
There was no
some kid mouth off to you and you're like, I'm out of here, dude.
I actually ran a unit for children on the autism spectrum in a regular high school setting in Florida. It was in Boca Raton, Florida. And
by the way, now you're talking to my hood here, just so you know.
Oh, this guy over here.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Florida man over here.
Are you from down that way, or were you just down there teaching?
I went to high school in Stewart,
okay.
and then I went to UF.
Gotcha.
For college.
Gotcha. I grew up in Coral Springs, which is right next door to Boca, and then lived in Boca for a really long time. And my parents are still in Boca Del Vista Phase 4. They're down there. So yeah, I got a little South Florida in this DNA right here.
So I taught at Boca Raton High.
Okay. Gotcha.
And that experience, I'm so glad I did it. I was very young when I started, 21, straight out of college, taught there for 6 years, and literally, honestly, kind of fell into that job as well. I honestly think the principal hired me because I wanted to coach swimming. But
Probably.
so glad that I did it. I learned more than any job could have ever taught me about communication with all different types of people, really writing educational plans and sticking to them, achieving goals, as well as it just really sunk in that the cannabis industry could be extremely valuable and important in that population, especially as they age out of the high school setting. And so I actually quit my job teaching after 6 years. And literally 2 weeks later, I moved to California, no job, but teachers get paid all summer long. So I knew I had at least a few months of a buffer. So I moved to Ocean Beach in San Diego and kind of bounced around for a while and then got the corporate education job. And that's when I started experimenting and making cannabis products.
When you were doing that, did you ever find the business intimidating? Because it's such a large industry with so many different options and so many ways to be a part of it. Did you ever kind of go, wait, I don't know which direction I want to go in. I know I want to do this, but I don't know which way I want to go.
It's definitely been intimidating on multiple occasions, especially being a female owner.
Girl power. Girl power.
Girl power. But I mean, I remember I went up into this one guy at an event one time, and I had met him at least 8 different times. And he every time would walk up to me and pretend like he had no idea who I was. And finally, I was just like, hey, we've met like 15 different times. This is who I am. This is what I do. And since then, he obviously remembered me after that. But it is. Yeah. It's been a challenge for sure. I mean, in the Prop 215 days, you're obviously dealing with the fact that you're working under a super gray area. That was always extremely intimidating and scary at points. Going into regulations was also extremely challenging to find a manufacturing partner that we could trust and rely on and have all our products made to the standards that I expect them to be made at. I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with navigating through this industry. I know Ruthie is, but it is a roller coaster. Every day is different. There's always something new that comes up, some sort of change is going on, some sort of mountain you have to climb. And we've definitely climbed quite a few of them. And at this point, I look at it, every situation extremely calmly because of all of the things that I've been able to overcome and succeed at doing through all of the challenges that have been thrown at us being in this industry. We can do anything. Yeah. The 2 women that are behind me, I mean, the 3 of us can literally do anything. A full name change and our sales are 30% higher this month than they've ever been. Wow. I mean, you just have a positive attitude about it, really stay focused and spend your money in the right places, which I think is a lot of areas where many brands in this industry really mess up with, is not appropriating their available funds to areas that are actually going to have an ROI on that expense.
So I got to ask, which one of the M, A, or Y is the dog lover? Whose idea was it to jump into making products for dogs?
Which, by the way, is a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Brilliant idea.
I need to get some for my pup.
Seriously, because you know, like some people, I'm going to make an admission here. This is probably not the greatest thing to admit to somebody, but here goes. We were at a friend's house in Palm Springs, and her dog was out of control, crazy, and like just so utterly annoying. And somebody gave the dog an edible, not intended for dogs, not me. I promise you, Ruthie, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. Because even when they said to me, they're like, I gave the dog an edible. I'm like, really? I'm not so sure that's a great idea. But they gave the dog an edible, a 10 milligram edible, and it chilled the dog out. And I thought to myself, why are there not cannabis brands who are specific to dogs? And I don't know, maybe there are, but we've been reading about some of your products. Alex, it's a great question. So what's the deal, Meghan?
It is a great question. So all 3 of us are complete animal lovers. Foos and Friends is the pet tincture line that we launched October 2021. Yes, this one.
Here it is. Yeah, we're looking at it.
So my cat Fritz is actually the one that inspired the development of this tincture. When I adopted him, he had been diagnosed with FIV, which is essentially like feline HIV. And so I've always just been extremely proactive in the supplements and the type of food that I was feeding him in order to keep his immune system extremely healthy and balanced so that he never had any issues with it. Typically, if you care for your cat in an extremely obsessive way like I do, if they have HIV or FIV, you don't really notice any symptoms. They live a full normal lifespan, the correct amount of years, and they're healthy the whole time. But I was giving him lysine tincture, omega-3 tincture, focus formula, cannabis tincture every single day. So 3 different tinctures plus his food every day. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm going to take all of these and I'm going to make one tincture that's great for pets, dogs and cats. And so Foos and Friends, my last name's Muckenfuss. So the Foos comes from the last 4 letters of my last name. And that's why it has the umlauts over the U. So it looks like a smiley face, but it's also pronounced Foos. And it's an omega-3 oil base with added vitamin E and then a high CBD 20-to-1 cannabis oil in the tincture. It's designed to be a daily wellness tincture. So you give it to your pet twice a day with their food. And omegas are equally as important in a pet's diet as they are in a human's diet for not only skin and coat health, but heart health, immune system, allergy defense. It's essentially like a super anti-inflammatory, combining omega-3s with the CBD. And so by having your pets have an extremely strong anti-inflammatory in their system, it does help prevent a lot of long-term ailments. I mean, simple things like if you have dogs at all and they get hot spots, it's an allergic reaction essentially. So by taking something that's an anti-inflammatory and helps your body's natural allergy defense, it would prevent things like that from occurring.
So Meghan, we will definitely want to have you back on this podcast. But Ruthie, before we go, one of the things that you and I have talked about is sometimes women can find going into the store a little intimidating, especially if they're new to the cannabis world. And I think when women hear this podcast and they hear Meghan and that it's a female owned and operated brand, how they got their start, the women that are involved. And then I guess, Ruthie, I think if we look at some of the products that Dr. May has, when I read the descriptions, they seem to almost be like made for women in some ways. I'm not saying that men can't use them. I'm just saying that when I read the descriptions, it sounds like a female owned and operated company that is making products for other women. Do you think, Ruth?
I would have to disagree with you. I think
Okay.
it is a company that works for so many people. It is true that I think, when Meghan got her start, they were helping older people. And I know here at our Truckee Holistics San Diego location, we do see a lot of people in that demo as well. However, I think that more moms with kids that are in sports are looking for the balms and the creams for their aches and pains and to find some relief. So I've had multiple moms ask me about that for their kids that are doing sports. Is it safe, to rub this on my kid after their sports games? They're pretty beat up. So I think that, and also the taste of their tinctures and their hearts are so fantastic. I mean, I have found a lot of relief for my PMS symptoms through their heart candies. And then the balms, everyone in my household uses them if there's, those kinds of aches and pains happening. So honestly, I think it's a brand that can be used for so many different purposes. I love their focus tincture. And actually before they had their pet brand, I was using focus on my dog who started having seizures. And every time I would bring out, focus, the dog would be so excited to have some. He loved it. And then it would help him, have less seizures. And I was always taking pictures and sending them to Megan of like, look how happy Mojo is. He's not suffering as much. He had seizures, his last year of his life before he passed. But I really think that his last year was better because he was, taking focus from.
Well, I know you've told me, this is before the name change, about the balm that I told you. I said, hey, my girlfriend hurt her back, something, what do you suggest? And it was previously Dr. Raw, now Dr. May. So I know we've been using those products for a really long time. And it's interesting to hear you talk about, moms with kids in sports, and can I rub this on my child? Can I give my child a tincture? Because from what I've read, they're not going to feel the effects of THC on a lot of these products. Is that right?
Correct. All of our topicals are non-transdermal, so meaning they don't penetrate into your bloodstream, causing psychoactive effects. Now, if you have like a gaping wound and you smear a bunch of balm in your gaping wound, then you could potentially feel a little bit of a psychoactive effect because it has direct access to your bloodstream at that point, but they're non-transdermal. So what that does is it essentially dulls your pain sensors in the localized area where you apply the topical, as well as it has an anti-inflammatory benefits in that localized area. So you can have pain relief without the psychoactive effects, and you can reapply it we recommend every 4 hours throughout the day for continued relief. But you can use it at work. You can use it if you're a teacher. You can use it anywhere without having to worry about driving home or any psychoactive effects from it.
Any suggestions for people that are listening and people that are watching, like when they come in to the store, like, hey, try this product. This is great. Give it a shot.
Well, I personally think it depends on what you're kind of dealing with. So like if you're, the focus for me helps me with my creativity and just staying on task. But like, for nighttime, I like to relax. So I like the relax tincture. And then I love all the bombs. And like I said, the candy hearts are awesome for a little bit of relief during PMS.
We're taking a look at some of this stuff right now. So again, for anybody listening on audio podcast, we always encourage you to come over to the YouTube channel and take a look, because Alex is posting a lot of this stuff up right now so we can look at it while we're talking about it. This is great, Megan. Congratulations on your incredible success.
Yeah.
What a story. What an amazing story, really.
I know. I feel like there's so much more to the story too, but it would take hours.
And Yazi was at the store today. Ruthie is at Tori Holistic. Is she going to be there anytime, like more often, so you can get a chance to meet?
Yep. Dr. May is here actually quite often. On our website on toryholistics.com, we have a calendar of events. And so you can see who's going to be on site on which days. And they're here probably about once a week. Yazi's amazing. You'd have so much fun talking to her and meeting her. And she's got lots of information. And another beautiful thing about Dr. May is every time they come, they bring the staff goodies that are always gluten-free and vegan. And they're just super kind to not only their customers, but their friends. Friends here at Tori, for sure.
I bet.
I still homemade vegan gluten-free treats for like 90% of our accounts throughout the state of California. And Yazi and Amy take them when they go do all the events for the staff at the store. It's just extra treats for them.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's so
Nothing
cool.
wrong with that.
No, that's really cool. Well, Megan, this is the first, but not the last. And it's great to talk to you. Great to see you. And congratulations on the name change. And by the way, the 30% increase in monthly revenue from last to this. That's such a great story. And I know we'll hear a lot more about the company and about the products the next time we all get together.
Thank you, guys. I would love to. This was really fun.
Yeah, this is fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to talk about your company.
Yeah.
It's fun to talk about the stuff you make, isn't it?
It is fun.
Yeah, and we love it
It's
too.
been a wild ride.
Do you still listen to Shania Twain?
Not that much, but I'm not gonna lie. If the song comes on, I don't necessarily change the channel.
Meghan, great to talk to you. Thank you, and we look forward to spreading the word to all of our listeners and viewers about Dr. May. Thank you.
Thanks,
Cheers, guys.
Megan.
All right, guys. I'll start with you, Ruthie. How'd you enjoy Meghan? I know you love the girl power and the women in the cannabis industry, but she had so many really great things to tell us about how she got into it. Alex, I thought your question about dogs and getting stuff for dogs, and then Browner, you finished us off with the whole question about the music and does she still like who was it? I just lost Shania Twain. Ruthie, what'd you think about Meghan?
Yeah, I love Meghan. I'm a huge fan of Dr. Ra. I think all their products are fantastic. It was one of the first products that I became a huge fan of when I first started working at Tory. So big fan of Meghan and her whole company and all her products.
So guys, to wrap.
It's such a giant leap too,
Yeah.
man. Like, it was what I think on her Instagram, I saw February 28th they announced it. So it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah,
It's
we
such
had
a giant
big
leap for me.
launch here in San Diego.
Yeah.
They brought masseuse and they had vegan ice cream. It was so fun.
That's cool.
I gotta get an updated one. I only have Dr. Raw.
Yeah, see, same with me. I still have my Dr. Raw, my balm that I use on my back or my hamstring. I know I need to update it and get a Dr.
Yeah.
May. I feel like I need.
The roll-on is fantastic. It's
I
super
love it.
easy to use. It's great.
Hey, real quick to wrap things up here today. So I told you this story at the beginning of the podcast about getting all my weed confiscated as I was leaving the United States and going to Mexico.
Pablo.
So wait, so dude, so I come back, right? I land in Tijuana. I get across the border. I say to my girlfriend, I want to go directly to Tory Holistics because all the stuff that I had lost, I want to go replace. So listen to this. I go into Tory Holistics. I give my driver's license to the young lady who's working the front desk. She gives me back my driver's license. And she says, hey, somebody will be with you in just a couple of minutes. Why don't you just chill? I'm like, thanks. And she goes, oh, by the way, huge fan of the Holistics Highlights podcast. I love the podcast. And I'm going, we're only 2 episodes in. You're kidding me. She goes, no, I've listened to both of them. I love them. I think it's great. And I'm like, so that's so cool. So look, I don't know what the deal is, Ruthie, if you've been spreading the word around the store or what, but the kids who work, I say kids, the folks who work there, they already had some exposure to it and they've already been downloading it and listening to it and spreading the word. So I was really flattered. Usually it's like, hey, we like the radio show or, hey, we see you on TV. But this time it was like, no, I like the Holistics Highlights podcast.
And I'm getting hit up from vendors of like, when do I get to be on the Holistics
Oh,
Highlights?
nice.
Yep. I know everybody wants to come on now. Yep.
Yeah. Your time's coming.
We're gonna need to sample your product before you go to the show.
True.
Right.
We've now reached the sample threshold.
I'm always making sure you guys are trying it all.
Right. We all want to try it. Exactly. Well, hey guys, that's episode 3. Wait a second. Bye, Meghan. Right. There was the hi Meghan sign. And then there was the bye Meghan sign.
We all love Meghan.
I can tell. She's made quite an impression with you guys. That's really cool. Yeah. Well, we'll see you next time for episode 4 of the Holistics Highlights podcast. For Ruthie and the Brown Man and Grande, this is Scott saying until next time, enjoy it. Come on down to the store and visit. And we will see you next time here on the Holistics Highlights podcast. See you later, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.